Welcome to Thought for October the 28th. Our readings today are taken from 2 Chronicles chapters 25, Daniel chapter 6, and Acts chapters 5 and 6. Our thought is, unless we find it in. In Daniel chapter 6 today, we saw clear evidence that this wonderful man, now in his old age, was a man who had a regular prayer life, probably now more intense than ever. We read of those who are jealous of the opinion the king holds of him, and how they look for ways to discredit his loyalty to the king. They confer together and decide, we shall not find any ground for complaint against this Daniel unless we find it in connection with the law of his God. Verse 5. They persuade the king to issue an ordinance banning the making of petitions, that is, prayers, to any god or man for 30 days, except to you, O king. Verse 7. Now when Daniel knew that the document had been signed, he went to his house where he had windows in his upper chamber open towards Jerusalem. He got down on his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God as he had done so previously. Verse 10 tells us. Those jealous of the respect the king had for him reported this matter to him. Now because the king's laws were treated as immutable, their report led to Daniel being put into the lion's den. His miraculous preservation followed. The most significant lesson in this story for us is that Daniel was a man of constant prayer, daily in communication with the only true God. In chapter 10, we will read of his distress at the awesome visions given to him. A heavenly being then comes and says, O man greatly loved, fear not. Peace be with you. Be strong and of good courage. Verse 19. In our Acts reading, we noted the reasons why the disciples decide to appoint deacons. The number of believers being baptized and joining the church had become so many that there is a need for more and more organization. With their appointment, the disciples now said, we will devote ourselves to prayer and the ministry of the word. Chapter 6 and verse 4. This is an example to the effective operation of ecclesias and a cause for reflection on the part of elders. It also reminds us how those baptized on the day of Pentecost devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and fellowship, to the breaking of bread and prayers. Chapter 2 and verse 42. How well are we following these examples? What are the grounds of complaint against us? Are there any that are parallel to those made against Daniel? Thank you once again for joining us for Thought for the Day, that together we can open up the pages of God's Word, remembering that they are a lamp to our feet and a light to our path.